Hi, I'm Doyle, and I want to talk to you about a topic today that some people are going to have a real strong reaction to this topic. Some of you will shrug, and some of you will be curious. And what I'd like to do is to hear back from everyone on what your take is on this topic. And the topic is people don't do anything unless they get something out of it. Think about that before you react. First thing we think about is, well, someone can be kind-hearted and do something for someone because they care about them. That's right, they can. But they do that obviously to help the person, but they get something out of it as well. They feel good about helping the other person. Most of the time we think of these quid pro quo types of situations where I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, where it's a bargain or a deal. But it's not always a spoken bargain or deal. Sometimes it is an internal bargain for yourself. There are very few people that I can't even think of anyone, quite frankly. When I think even of someone like Mother Teresa or Nelson Mandela, the ones that have given so much of themselves throughout their lives to help others, but they get something out of it. Mother Teresa is because she's looking for the favor of God. Now, some will say, well, that's minimizing her value. I don't think so at all. She has a wonderful heart. She had a wonderful heart. I mean, she's passed on now, but she had a wonderful heart. And the things that she did helped so many people around the world, so many that were in such dire need and dire straits. She helped them. And she lived a life of minimalism herself, to be able to be with and around those people that needed her help and needed her hand. She was a faithful servant of God. And so her glory, her reward that she looked forward to, her motivation was to please God and to find the favor of God. And there's nothing bad. That's the point that I wanted to make about this. By saying this, I'm not saying that people only do something if they get something out of it is a bad thing. In fact, I think it's a great thing. I think it's the type of thing that can motivate us to do some tremendous things for our fellow man and fellow mankind and the world and those around us that have needs. Most of the time we think in terms of selfishly doing this, but I think of it in a very, very different light. I had a conversation with one of my sons once, actually probably both of them, on this topic. And it's a very deep, thought-provoking topic, and I would encourage you to spend time thinking about it and find the good in it, not the selfishness, not the negative, not the bad, not where we see people that they go into behaviors that are, if not criminal, unethical, and if not unethical, unsavory, and if not unsavory, selfish. And they do things because they want something tangible, some result, some outcome that helps them and favors them. But when someone does something for someone else, they get this feeling of joy and pleasure inside. And that's a wonderful thing. I think that's a great thing. If you love someone, when you do something for that loved one, it makes you feel good. It serves their needs or helps them, but it also makes you feel good. And there's nothing bad about that. There's nothing bad about that. There's nothing selfish about that. So anyway, it's a topic that stays on my mind quite a bit. And a lot of times people think, well, if you do something because you get something out of it, it's not worth doing. And I take exception to that. My point of view on that is it's wonderful that people get joy and peace and happiness and satisfaction and even feelings of love out of doing something for someone else. Doing something, and they get something out of it too. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think that's one of the ways that we have as humankind to make the world a better place, is to give, and we've heard these kinds of things many times. Giving is more rewarding than getting. And that, I think, speaks to this point altogether that I'm trying to make. If you have differing thoughts, if you want to pose a different perspective, help me learn. Let me understand more clearly your perspective if you don't agree with what I'm saying here. If you think there's another way of looking at it, if you're seeing something that I'm not, help enlighten me. I would appreciate it. If you like this video, I'd appreciate you clicking the like button. Doesn't matter if you don't want to, that's fine too. And if you want to see the next one coming along, subscribe to my channel and you'll get notified. If you don't want to do that, that's okay too. The only thing I'd like to ask, though, is that you watch my videos. See if there's anything there that is interesting to you. challenges you, encourages you, frustrates you, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments on these topics that I speak about. And hopefully we can learn from one another. We can gain from one another as we do for one another. Until next time, God bless. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you then. Bye.